Welcome to another video. Today we're going to go back and take a look at where the Final Fantasy series began. Well, kind of. We're actually going to check out the first game in the series, but we're going to check out the WonderSwan version. If you'd like to find out about the NES original and how this was almost the last game for Square, please go watch a better channel. Anyways, let's check it out. I have to admit, this isn't my favorite entry in the series, but I somehow managed to acquire almost every version of the game. I'm just missing the Dawn of Souls port on the Game Boy Advance. Here's a quick look at the manual. You'll find some gorgeous Amano artwork in there. There's also a shot of the Final Fantasy WonderSwan color, which I would love to get my hands on someday. The story of Final Fantasy is incredibly simple and straightforward. When the world is in danger, 4 warriors of light will appear with crystals in hand to save the world. Your first order of business will be to head to the Temple of Fiends to rescue the king of Corneria's daughter, Sarah. After doing so, the king orders a bridge to be built to the main continent, which will allow our heroes to continue their journey and restore light to their crystals. And that's pretty much it. It may seem very basic, but so is pretty much everything else in that era. You'll be able to name your characters at the start, and also choose what class they will be. Warriors have high hit points and defense. Thieves are quick but weak. Monks have high attack power. White mages cast healing and support spells. Black mages cast offensive magic. And red mages are kind of a mix of the 2 magic classes combined with a warrior. About halfway through the game, you'll be able to evolve to stronger classes. This will not only boost some stats, but also let warriors and thieves cast low-level spells. The 3 magic classes will gain access to some stronger magic. This game can be extremely challenging if you select the wrong classes. When I played through this on the WonderSwan earlier this year, I selected what I thought would be a balanced party. I chose the warrior, thief, black mage, and white mage. And this is actually a terrible party, since you will have a hard time dealing damage, and will have to heal the 3 weaker characters way too often. The best thing to do is make a party of 2 warriors and 2 red mages. Sure, you will lose out on some white and black magic, but you will more than make up for this by dealing lots of damage to monsters quickly. Plus, the better armor options for these classes means you won't have to heal as frequently. Monks can be useful as well, but it takes a while before they become super effective. Battles for the most part will occur randomly, although some fights will be triggered when you get near a treasure chest. The combat is the classic turn-based style with monsters on the left and your party on the right. You can choose to attack, cast magic, use an item, change equipment, or flee. Who gets to go first seems to be chosen completely at random though. I like the combat, but it can be incredibly frustrating. What makes the combat so irritating is how much of a factor luck plays in every encounter. One turn you'll deal 14 damage, the next you'll hit for 95, and the next one you will miss completely. There is so much fluctuation and randomness to the damage you deal. The same randomness applies to enemy attacks as well. Another problem is that it always seems like the enemies are faster than your team. This is especially annoying when you get into fights with monsters that can paralyze your team. It's really tough to have a strategy for this when you get paralyzed before you can even act. At least they made it so your characters will move on to new targets when you defeat an enemy, unlike the NES version, which would make the next attack swing at nothing. Magic in this one is not learned through leveling up, but by purchasing spells at the shop. While I prefer the standard way of learning new magic, this way isn't too bad. You do have to be careful with what spells you buy though, as each character only has 3 slots per magic level, and the shops sell 4 per level. And once these are equipped, they cannot be removed. Another thing worth mentioning is that there is no way to refill magic inside a dungeon. This makes the mage units less useful, since you pretty much have to conserve all their magic for boss fights. The graphics in this version are really nice and a huge upgrade from the NES. The battle graphics are now in full color and no longer have the multiple windows found in the original. Towns, dungeons, and the world map also look great. The iconic character sprites of the NES version have been replaced with more detailed models and are nice as well. The music in Final Fantasy is excellent. Obviously it doesn't sound as good as the Origins version on PS1, but you will still find yourself humming along to some of these classic tunes, especially that victory fanfare. Final Fantasy on the WonderSwan is a great port of a game that definitely shows its age. Personally, I prefer the second game, as it has more story and the battle system doesn't seem to rely on luck so heavily. Yeah, I know, a lot of you hate that one because of how easily it can be broken. Anyways, if you'd like to pick this game up for the handheld, it can be found on eBay for about 10 to 15 bucks complete. Would I recommend this? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with no. It's not that it's a bad game, but it may be a bit too archaic for many people. And that will do it for this one. As always, I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time.